from the shadows deep, where the mind and body meet. Every heartbeat pounds like thunder, a call to awaken, no time to wander. Push the limit, feel the fire, one step closer, climbing higher. Warriors unleashed, breaking chains, chasing dreams, the power's in you. Let it scream, get inspired, stand tall, fight the beast, champions for life, warriors unleashed. Every scar's a story, every drop's a fight, sweat and soul under the light. Strength's not given, it's earned in flames. Through the storm, remember your name. Push the limit, feel the fire, one step closer, climbing higher. Warriors unleashed, breaking chains, chasing dreams, the power's in you. Let it scream, get inspired, stand tall, fight the beast, champions for life, warriors unleashed. Push the limit, feel the fire, one step closer, climbing higher. Warriors unleashed, breaking chains, chasing dreams, the power's in you. Let it scream, get inspired, stand tall, fight the beast, champions for life, warriors unleashed. Warriors unleashed. Warriors unleashed. Warriors
Sims Nation, welcome one and all. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Warriors Unleashed, live on WANT Radio and live streaming with live chat on YouTube. So if you want to be a part of tonight's show, you can head on over to YouTube and you can use the live chat there to give me your thoughts. Tell me what you think about the show. Tell me what you think about our topic, and be a part of Warriors Unleashed. I'm very proud to be coming to you again this Friday evening. It's 8 o'clock here on the West Coast, 11 o'clock on the East Coast. So if you're on the East Coast and you're hanging out with us, either way, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. And yes, I want to say hello to my buddy, my DDPY buddy, Joe Holloway. Welcome to the program. Thank you for jumping in. And yes, I am sporting the all-new Warriors Unleashed t-shirt, available now at positivelypatsims.printful.me. Now, this hat this Positively Pat Sims hat is a one of a kind because we had to take the hats off of our website because we are a print or make to order website. And what happens is because of the way that this site is structured, if you order something that they put on hold to get approval for, it just automatically cancels the order. Now, that's not a good policy for any company, and I've been talking with them about this. But until that gets corrected, we're taking the hats off because otherwise every time you order one, it's going to get booted. You're going to get refunded right away for it. So we're just cutting that out for now. But this is the Positively Pat Sims hat that I'd love to have up on the site at some point. But this, however, is going to be an interesting topic because it is one of the most popular phrases in all of health and fitness that we're going to be discussing here. We're talking about no pain, no gain. Now, you've heard this in gyms across the world. You've heard this in workout videos. You've heard this in movies, television shows. Superman said it in Superman 4: A Quest for Peace, in a very un-Superman-like moment where he throws a weight at a guy and knocks him down, and then he's like, no pain, no gain, right? And whenever I say, or anyone says, no pain, no gain, I want you to think about what comes into your mind when you hear that phrase. And I'm willing to bet that for most of you, it's going to be the idea of lifting weights and how lifting weights is and can be a very painful experience as you go along. And so I'm guessing that for most of you that you immediately went to weightlifting, weight training, but a lot of people might also be thinking about doing stretching, right? Because when you stretch and your muscles are really tightening and elongating, that can feel like a very painful process. So some of you might be going into thinking about yoga. You might be just thinking about Pilates. You might just be thinking about stretching. You might be thinking about your abs and core workouts, holding plank, right? That can be extremely challenging. It can be extremely painful for your shoulders, for your core, for all of that stuff. Going into the chat here, for me, it's if I don't feel pain when working out, even if not weight related, I don't feel or believe that it's working. And my buddy Joe says working anything with legs is painful. Now, one of the very important things I want to mention to you guys is I want you to start to understand that nothing that I want to encourage you to do in this show is going to lead you down a path that's going to take you into injury, that's going to lead you to hurting yourself, okay? Because that's one of the issues that I take with no pain, no gain, is people look at that statement and they look at it the same way that a lot of people look at all or nothing, right? It means you go all out, balls to the wall, and if you don't, you're not going to achieve success. If you don't, you're not going to get to your goals. You're not going to do this. You're not going to do that. We are not here to lead you down that path, okay? One of the things I want you to do is start to understand what is pain, because there's so many different kinds of pain. There's physical pain, and even then, there's all different kinds. There's physical pain that's just being uncomfortable because maybe you're in a pretzel type of position and it's causing you to struggle with your breathing, and it's just uncomfortable, right? We do that in our DDPY workouts where we say learn to breathe in uncomfortable situations. Pain could be a stretching pain. It could be a joint pain, muscle pain. It could be ligament pain. It could be so many different things. And sometimes it's just telling you that you're working hard. Sometimes it's telling you that you're done working. And sometimes it's telling you there's trouble. And when that happens, that means you've pushed things too far. It means that you need to take a step back, right? There's emotional pain. There's just so many different kinds of pain that you can talk about. But the good news is, whatever pain you're dealing with, the idea of no pain, no gain has a lot of truth to it, no matter how you view it. And there's always an upside to pain. It just depends on your mentality. It depends on your mindset, on how you're viewing what's happening. Okay? And a lot of you guys might be thinking like, oh, that's bullcrap. There's no way. There's no way that you can turn any problem, any pain, into a positive. And I'd love for people in the live chat right now, and even if you're watching this back on replay, use the comment section. Give me a pain that you're currently dealing with, and I'll help you find the gain. I'll help you find that positive. It's a challenge I'm giving to you guys and to myself to go into that live chat, give me your pain, and I'm not going to heal it. I'm not a healer. I'm not going to magically take away your pain, but I can help you take that next step. Maybe see another way of looking at what you're dealing with. I'd love to do that for you guys. But let's start with the physical aspects of no pain, no gain. Okay? In all honesty here, I had to learn over the last 2+ years, and even before that, even before my shoulder replacement, I had to start learning the difference between what my normal pain was. Because when you have stage 4 severe degenerative arthritis in your shoulder and you're bone on bone and you're crunching, you're in pain 24/7. And I was in pain 24/7. And I had to quickly, while I was on my health and fitness journey, I had to learn what's a normal pain that I just have to push through and deal with, and what is a pain that's doing damage. Okay? Because there is a difference. If you have a injury, you have to understand, okay, well, what does that mean? What else can I do around that to stay active, right? If you have a broken foot, there's still things you can do to stay active as long as you're not doing further damage to the foot. You can sit in a chair and you can do dynamic resistance. You can do isometrics. You can lift weights with your upper body. That's not putting any pressure on your foot. You can even work on your left side, doing some balance stuff if you want. Just be careful because you don't want to hurt yourself. But there's always things that you can do to get around certain injuries and stuff. I had an internal pain with asthma. I had a bad asthma attack now I'm not talking about myself. I'm reading from the comments here. For those of you on WANT that can't see what we're doing here. I had a bad asthma attack a few weeks ago and had to stop all workouts for a bit and start over from easy workouts like energy from DDPY till I got better, but now going strong again. So what you're seeing there is you're seeing a pain, you're seeing a setback that forced you to take a break. It forced you to take a timeout. And that's something that we all need to understand happens in life. For all of these people that are out there that are talking about all of the consecutive days that they do DDPY or whatever workout they do, that's fantastic. That's great. I always just recommend don't put all of your hopes and dreams into this consecutive record and put all of your purpose and meaning into that, because at some point that streak will end. And you have to be able to accept that and be able to move past it when that moment happens. All right? We all deal with that where we go on these streaks of success and where you're just feeling good and you're like, yeah, I have not missed a bicep day. I haven't missed this. I haven't missed that in forever. And it's just, you're just on a roll, right? And then boom, life goes, not anymore. And everything comes to a halt. I had so many stops and starts after my shoulder replacement. It was like I would go on these stretches of weeks where I felt great. And I'm like, man, I am on fire. I mean, my ability to lift weights is going up, 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 up. My mobility is just going crazy. And then just one workout, I would feel like something wasn't quite right. And I'd have to take a step back and say, hold on a minute. I need to take a moment. I need to slow down and reassess what's happening. And in all your health and fitness journey, that's one of the big things I recommend to people. You need to assess and reassess constantly. It doesn't mean you have to change what you're doing, okay? Because one of the best things for you in your health and fitness journey is consistency, is consistently working out, consistency in your weight training, consistently in your whatever other workouts you tend to do, okay? It's very important. So when I say assess and reassess, what it means is you have to take a look at yourself and be honest and say, okay, is this working? Why is, if it's not, why is it not working? Or if it's working, you can even ask, why again? Why is this work? What about what I'm doing is working? And that brings me back to no pain, no gain. Because usually, if it's not working, there's only a couple of reasons why it's not. Number one, maybe you can't do the exercise properly. You're not creating that mind-muscle connection. Maybe it's because physically you can't. There are certain exercises I just can't do. There are certain exercises I don't feel comfortable doing. And if you're not comfortable doing it, and you don't feel confident in it, it's not going to work because you're not going to be able to create that connection to really stimulate the muscle growth, to stimulate strength growth and all of that. So I just saw a bunch of chat things going up here, so I want to get to that. All right. My right is a mess. It hurts anytime I bend it beyond normal walking strides. It also caused a ton of cramps in my foot. It's like lightning shooting from my knee to my foot. Doing DDPY helps sometimes, but it's very rare. It does help. I just have to fight through it. I can't sit in the same position too long either. That's why I'm constantly rocking back and forth when standing and shifting so much when sitting. Now, I think as we get older, I think what we're seeing here is something that obviously happened due to a traumatic moment, event, an injury that has become a chronic problem. It is a pain that is consistent, it's constant, and there are days when I'm sure it's better than others. There's days that are worse than others, and you do what you have to do to get through that, okay? And the good news about any injury is, like I said, there's always a way to work around it to where you can still benefit from getting workouts done. Now, if you're doing a lower body intensive workout, then sometimes it could be as simple as just finding the proper position for your foot, for your leg, for your knee in order to do what you need to do. And sometimes it's as complicated as you need to find a completely different way of doing what needs to get done. Okay? So, for example, there's certain times if you have problems with your feet, there are certain times in DDPY when we lower to our knee and we come on top of our back foot. And then we try to push up on the top of our foot and bring our knee up off the mat. It's a great thing to strengthen different muscle groups than a normal twisting lunge, but it also really works the foot. And it can also do this similar things when you're going into up dog. That's when you're in a cobra position and you straighten your arms, pull your chest through, bring your quads up off the mat, and you're on top of your feet. So sometimes when I go into that position and I'm on the top of my feet, my right foot, my toes are getting a little weird in my older age, and they cramp really hard on me. And I have to quickly kind of curl the toes under and get into down dog position so that I'm not dealing with the cramping. Like, as soon as I do that, it goes away. It's fine. Yeah, I can only do that about 2 seconds. Yeah, and so the great thing about a program like DDPY, and there's other ones similar, where it's about modifying, it's about making the workout your own and finding other ways within the workout to get what you want out of the workout. And so it's always a good thing, in my opinion, to assess what you want to get out of your training. Are you looking for increased mobility, number one? Are you looking for strength training, number one? Are you looking for weight loss, number one? So priorities. What do you want out of your workout regimen and your program? And it goes for nutrition as well. What do you want to get out of it? And when you've decided what you want to get out of it, what your number one thing is, then that becomes your main focus, and everything else comes one after the other and follows suit. So if your main goal is weight loss, and you're doing a program like DDPY or your weight training, whatever you're going to do, then your focus needs to be on nutrition, number one. The workouts are secondary to your nutrition when it comes to weight loss. You also want to keep your heart rate in your fat burning zone as opposed to your anaerobic zone, which is your higher heart rate, and, of course, your lower heart rate. You want to get it up into that sweet spot, which is about a 20 beats per minute range, where for mine, I try to put mine at about 125 is the beginning of my green zone, which is a little bit higher than it should be for a 45-year-old, but that's where I put mine. And 145 is the top of my fat burning zone. So find where your zones are and try to stay within that fat burning zone. All right? Really focus on getting there. And you can do that with a program like DDPY. It's all right there. Dynamic resistance, isometrics. If mobility is a big deal for you, then sometimes you have to, again, understand what pain you're dealing with. Are you dealing with a pain that is just, it's always there? You're just dealing with that pain? Or are you dealing with a pain that is causing you more problems and creating more injury on that particular muscle, joint, ligament, tendon, whatever the case may be? So it's important to listen to your body and understand what your body is telling you, because if the pain is a normal pain that's just not going to go away, there's always a chance that with a program like DDPY, like a yoga program or Pilates, that there's a chance that what you're dealing with can be worked through and get better over time with consistency, right? With constant work and really working on getting that scar tissue broken up within there. And sometimes you're just in a position like me where there is no cartilage in the joint, and so there's nothing you can do about that. That's not going to heal. The only thing you can do is either live with it and be miserable, or you can get the joint replaced. That's it. All right, I want to get back to the chat here to my buddy Joe. Yeah, I was doing good. Then I had to stop, was feeling frustrated till I just took a deep breath and recovered some. So, yeah, and that's important, all right? And so the idea of pain is a signal that's going to your brain, and your brain interprets it and tells you, we got to do something's wrong, all right? And you have to make a decision on how you're going to react to that pain. Are you going to react to that pain by pushing through? Are you going to react to that pain by pausing? Are you going to stop altogether? What is the pain telling you? And that's not always an easy answer. Sometimes it's difficult. But if there's a way to push through the pain, there is a gain on the other side of the fence. And it's not always physical. That's the thing. Like, none of this that we're talking about here is always, it's not all physical that we're talking about. All right? Weight training. You lift a weight, and every time you lift a weight, you're working on strength, muscle size and density, and muscle endurance. Every time you pick up a weight. How you lift it is going to make a difference on what your focus is, on what you're actually working on. How you lift a weight is going to stimulate muscle growth, or it's going to stimulate strength building, or it's going to stimulate muscle endurance. You can do all three. You can do one or two. You can do whatever. All right? There's always a way to do things in a more productive way for what you want, what your goals are. But what's another thing that the pain of working out can give you that's not physical? It's called confidence. Confidence. It's something that I try to impress on my children when we're training. Why you want every time you train, whether it's weights, whether it's yoga, whether it's DDPY, whatever it is. If maybe you're a runner, every time you train, you want to challenge yourself a little bit more than you did the time before. Just a little bit. Doesn't have to be crazy. Maybe you've been lifting 20-pound dumbbells for your bicep curls, and you realize you want to see bigger biceps, right? So what do you do? Maybe you just add 5 pounds total. So now you're doing 22 and a halves per arm, right? It's not a huge jump, but to your biceps it might be. And you're going to feel it the next day. And you're also going to feel more confident in you because you put the work in. When I first started this whole journey, I couldn't do a push-up. All right, I was on my knees. I would lower down maybe just a few inches. That's as far as I can go because my stomach was hanging down a foot. So I couldn't really lower very far. And coming up was a huge challenge, not just because of my bad shoulder at the time, but because I was so out of shape. I couldn't bring my hand to the ground doing it. I had to use yoga blocks. I had to use every trick that I could in the book to get through a workout. And the first time I did a workout, it was like I had to take a break. I had to go into what we call safety zone, and I had to take a break. And then as I moved on, I would do harder workouts because I followed the schedule. And the first time I did fat burner, I went to safety zone 2 or 3 times. Could barely get through it. So every time I had to recondition my mind to say, I can't do it now, or I can't do it yet, but if I keep going, eventually I'm going to own this workout. And I'm going to be doing even harder workouts. You have to fall in order to learn how to get up. If you've seen it before, everybody falls, everyone. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And the people that have been coddled and carried their whole lives, who then have to do it alone and end up falling, don't know how to get up. And that's something you should be learning from an early age. But you see these people that are born with the silver spoon. Their parents pay for their education, not just pay for it, but literally pay for their grades. They pay for them to go to the finest schools. If they get in trouble, the parents take care of it. They coddle their children. Your kids have got to fall down every now and then, because without it, they're never going to learn how to pick themselves up. They have to be able to get ticked off, get upset, get mad, get sad, feel embarrassed on their own. I always say, man, go out and make your own mistakes. I just ask you, don't make the same ones that I did. That's it. I don't like the idea of my kids never making a mistake, because that's not real. It's not reality. Just don't make the same stupid mistakes that I did. Joe says, that's my next goal. I have another 5K coming up. The goal is to try to run it in 2 minutes, or try to run it 2 minutes faster than my last one. And I agree, it does make you confident. It's a great feeling when you accomplish something, even if it's something small. And that's something that I think really needs to be done a lot more. And that's celebrating every victory. Celebrate the small stuff. And I want to throw this out there, guys. And it's not just about celebrating yourself, right? Because we've talked about that. Give yourself credit. You did the work. Maybe someone else came up with the idea. Maybe somebody else gave you the program. Maybe whatever. You had to legitimately do the work. So you get credit for that. And you can give yourself credit for that. But I think another big thing that goes along with that is giving thanks, which is something we kind of tend to forget to do from time to time. And sometimes it catches me off guard when we'll do a workout with the family here, and my wife will be done, and my wife will say, thank you. And I'm like, for what? Like, what I do? Like, I forget. Like, I just led the workout. Like, I led the charge here, and she's thanking me for taking them through a workout, for challenging them. And that makes me feel really good. So it's important, I think, to give yourself credit, give yourself a little pat on the back from time to time, but also be grateful, be thankful for the people that helped you get there. Because we never do these things alone, right? Nobody becomes a success alone. I don't care what, you can give me any argument you want. It doesn't happen. You can be a salesman. Guess what? You didn't do that alone, because someone, most likely, got you the parts you need to build whatever it is you build. Maybe you didn't, but the only way you became successful is you needed customers. There's no such thing as alone when it comes to being successful, right? I could say, if this show becomes a huge success and all of a sudden we're across multiple platforms making tons of money, and I can go, I did it myself, just me. Because look at your screen. It's just me. But that's not true. Because behind me is the support of my family. In front of me is a microphone that I didn't build. Is a computer I didn't build. A camera on my phone that I didn't build. A ring light I didn't build. None of it. The only thing that's me and me alone is me, and I didn't even make me. I have my parents to thank for that. So nothing, you do nothing alone when it comes to becoming successful. All right. Getting back to the pain and the gain part, I want to talk really quickly about, bring up a little bit other things apart from the physical aspect, the weight training aspect, the whatever workout you do aspect. There's always pain involved in that. And we'll come back to it to finish things off. But I want to talk about the mental side of things, the emotional side of things. There is pain in life. You could say that life is pain. But you can take that and you can learn how to deal with it in a much more constructive way and in a way that allows you to live a better, happier life. So there are a lot of people right now in the world that apparently, seemingly, if you go by social media, are living to be miserable because they sit on one side of the fence or another. And if you're on this side, if you're on my left side, and someone else is on my right, and the guy on my right says, I love the new Star Wars movie, the guy on the left's going to be like, you're an idiot, that movie sucked. And boom, you have a clash. On my right, there might be a Republican. On my left, there may be a Democrat. What happens? Boom. They collide. Because apparently, if you disagree, it means you are mortal enemies now. And if you are outside of that realm, right? Maybe you don't identify as one or the other. You're just trying to live your life because you've seen that choosing one side and denying the other is not a good way to live your life. That right there is a step in the right direction. In every situation in your life, you'll notice there's multiple sides to everything. There's multiple options. There's multiple decisions to be made. There's multiple outcomes. There's multiple sides to every story. Whatever it is, there's always more than one option. And if you got one guy over here telling you that a movie was the greatest movie ever made, and you got another guy over here telling you it's the worst movie ever made, the truth is somewhere in the middle. All right? But it all depends on you actually seeing that movie and making up your own mind. You might agree with the guy who says it's the greatest movie ever made. You might agree with the person who says it's the worst. Because you've made what? You've made your own mind up. You've made up your opinion. It's not a fact. It's only a fact to you. But you've had your opinion on what this is. And you're able to say what your opinion is. All you've done is maybe move the needle one little tick in the reality of everyone else's opinions. Right? But what makes something good or bad is subjective. It's up to you. It's how you look at it. And pain molds our way of thinking about so much in life. And if there's a truth that I can give you that is pretty concrete nowadays, is that we tend to live a lot of our lives based on pain. I'm betting that people you don't trust, you don't not trust them because they're good people. You don't trust people because you've been hurt in the past. And you haven't been able to rectify that pain. If you have a negative viewpoint on something, it means that that thing negatively impacted you. Chat says, funny how it's easy to base your life around pain more than around pleasure. And I think that in life, the things that are good, that are so good that they become life-changing events, I think that in this world, because things are so messed up more times than not, we're fed more negative things more times than not. It just feels like those moments are few and far between. It feels like, because of the world around us, that the negative things are much more abundant. The pain is much more of a factor. And one of the things I'll tell you right now, one of the things that I am guilty of, I was guilty of it. What time is it? I was guilty of it 45 minutes ago, 50 minutes ago. Last week, we had a problem with our feed on WANT. It wasn't WANT's fault. Technically, it wasn't my fault either. I just should have gone on early, and I should have tested everything out after the newest iOS update. All right? I should have done that. I didn't. I just assumed everything was going to work like normal. Now, we were fine here on YouTube, but we were dead silent for 2 shows, Friday and Saturday last week. We didn't miss them, so I'm not going to put it as a knock on me not making the show. We still did the shows. But it was rough. It was a rough thing to see that we weren't broadcasting. And it stood out to me as being something to stress and worry about before we went on the air. And I should have known so much better that that wasn't something I should be stressing about. And yet I justified it. I justified it to my wife. I justified it to myself. Instead of telling myself a different story that it's going to work. I did test it earlier today, and it worked. So it's going to work now. And if it doesn't, I'll adjust. I'll figure it out. I won't let my fans down one way or another. I won't let my listeners, I won't let my viewers down one way or another. I'll figure it out. If not today, then as soon as humanly possible. All right? We learn from our mistakes. And I think that's another reason why I think we tend to remember our mistakes more, because we don't want to repeat them. So we kind of beat ourselves up about mistakes a lot more because we don't want to do it again and again and again. So we kind of feel like we have to remember our pain. We have to remember all that stuff. And if anybody has seen Star Trek V, you'll know that there's a character there. It's Spock's brother named Sybok. I actually think Star Trek V is a highly underrated Star Trek film. I enjoy it. I like it. And Sybok's whole way of kind of brainwashing everyone is to make the person confront their pain. And when they confront their pain, he then has them release that pain, thus freeing them from that pain. And they're so thankful and grateful to have it gone that they'll follow him and basically do whatever he says. And he gets through McCoy, he gets through Spock, he gets to Kirk, and Kirk says, no. Pain's what makes me who I am. I need my pain. And I get it, right? I understand what Kirk is saying because we tend to look at ourselves and judge ourselves based on our mistakes, based on our pain. But I think we should be judging ourselves and looking at ourselves based on our ability to overcome our mistakes, to learn from our mistakes, and to go beyond them. We've talked about this on the show, on the main show, the Positively Pat Sims show. We've talked about it here on Warriors Unleashed. You can look back and you can acknowledge that you made a mistake. You can look back and you can say, yes, I screwed that up. And then you can take control and you can say, I'm not going to make that mistake again. And you start the process of moving forward. I've made tons of mistakes in my life. I've made mistakes as a kid. I've made mistakes as a teenager, as a young man. I've made mistakes in my marriage. And I've repeated some of those mistakes, and I wish I hadn't, but it's just truth. I can't go back in time and fix it. So I can either live my life in regret and be miserable, or I can keep moving forward and try to be better every day. Do the right things every day and be happier for it. Thus, allowing the people around me to be happier for it. So pain does serve a purpose. You can gain in life through pain. But don't dwell on the pain. Don't let pain define you. I had one of the biggest highs I've had in a long time this year. It's something that was 4 years in the making, right? And it might seem trivial to a lot of people, especially if you live in Southern California or you live in Florida. Might seem like, oh, come on. You're a 45-year-old man. What why is this a highlight of your life? And my wife will probably giggle, but the truth is 3 days with my family at Disneyland was magic. And I cannot bring myself to open up space on my phone by getting rid of those pictures from that trip, that little mini vacation we had. It meant the world to me. It took a lot of pain to get there, though. But when I was there was no pain. When I was there, I was making memories. I was making memories that were going to last a lifetime, that were good, that were positive, that were happy, that were filled with smiles and laughter and joy. Moments I never want to forget. I never want to forget how I felt when I made this lightsaber that's next to me. I got emotional the first time I held this lightsaber and Yoda spoke to me. Well, all of us. I'll never forget the first time going on the Cars ride, the racers, or the first time going on Guardians of the Galaxy, and the second time meeting Mickey Mouse as his sorcerer version, which I'd never done before. Going in to see Disney princesses for my wife, not knowing who we were going to meet, by the way. It was just a roll of the dice. And we were lucky enough to meet her favorite, Ariel. My son had a moment with Kylo Ren. We all met Darth Vader. I mean, it was a trip that is the positive kind of things that you want to build and you want to make. But the path to get there was full of challenges and pain, which makes it worth it. Dallas told me one time, in the very first video I ever got from him, he said to me, "It's the hard that makes it great." Think about that. If there was no challenge or discipline that was needed to attain something, you would not feel as connected to that moment as you would if there was sacrifice that had to be made to get there. If I had just looked like I do now, and I could do all the things that I can do now, and DDPY called me up and said, "Hey, we just kind of like the way you do your thing, so we're going to make you a DDPY champion." That'd have been cool, but wouldn't have meant anything because I didn't do anything to earn it. I didn't do anything to deserve it. It was every sweat, every ounce of sweat, every time I had to deny myself of junk food and all the terrible things that got me to over 300 pounds to begin with, and putting in the work that made becoming a champion so special to me. And if you're out there right now and you're doing the work and you're putting in the effort, you're challenging yourself on a daily basis, whether it be nutrition, physical fitness, your mental, the mentality of everything, where you're starting to change how you view yourself, how you view the world around you, whether it be your job, whatever it is, when you do the work, you become a champion in and for life. That's what this show is about. That is what we try to build here, is champions for life. And when you become that champion, that's when the warrior within is unleashed upon the world. But we as warriors, we're not fighting each other like so many out there want you to do. They want you to butt heads. They want brother versus brother. We are not warriors in that way. We are warriors that are fighting against negativity. We are warriors fighting against the unhealthy lifestyle, fighting against sorrow, depression, and we are standing up and defending joy, happiness, family togetherness, physical fitness, good health, good nutrition. All of those things is what being a champion for life and a true warrior is all about. If you're trying to attain anything, physically, mentally, whatever, you're going to have to accept the fact that there will be pain involved. When you work out with high intensity training, like when you're trying to stimulate muscle growth, when you're trying to become very strong, if you're trying to run long distances, you have to train with high intensity. And when you do that, your body reacts. It's painful in certain ways in the moment. You get sore for 24, 48, 72 hours, whatever the case may be. Right now, my triceps, my biceps are sore. It's it tells you that you've put in the work. But the bright side of it is that the pain is temporary. And in its place is the gain. In its place is the ability to run farther, to lift more, for a little extra layer of muscle that you're building. Because when you tear down the muscle in a workout, that's stimulating your muscle growth. Now it's time to rest. And it's during the rest time that the muscle heals. And if you've pushed it enough, you've got it to into hypertrophy, and you've gotten it to a point where you've stimulated the muscle to grow, it adds that layer of muscle so that the next time it's more adapted to do what it needs to do, and that's when you add another rep, add another pound. Keep pushing, but be smart about it. All right, I told you I wasn't going to give you any advice that would hurt you, that would send you down a path to where you would get injured or anything like that. I'm never going to steer you that direction. I'm going to tell you to be smart. All right, understand that you want to challenge yourself to change. You want to challenge yourself to get better, but don't do it at the expense of your health. Okay, and I'll give you an example. The shoulder is metal and plastic, right? And I know I go back to the shoulder a lot, but it's the best way I can show you guys legitimately what I'm talking about a lot of times. So because I have this, I can help you prevent this. All right? That's the key here. Because I have this, which I'm talking about my shoulder replacement, it means I know that I have a ceiling. I know I have a ceiling. I do not have unlimited ability to lift however much I want, any way that I want. Just not going to happen. Okay? I can damage the shoulder if I lift too much, if I lift too often, if I do, I have to be very careful. Now, I've done a lot of great things. I've improved by 500%, right? But I have to be smart. I have to listen to what my shoulder is telling me every day. Because if it says, whoa, doggy, I have to stop. I have to take a break, and I have to assess why, and then reassess to figure out what I can do to make sure that doesn't happen again. Pain can be a useful tool and an ally in your journey. But when you take things too far, too fast, pain can be a problem. But again, the good news that I have for you is it can be a short-term problem that you can fix, that you can correct, and that you can come out the other side better, stronger, mentally and physically. You are strong and amazing. All of you are. Thank you very much for that. That's my wife talking me up a little bit, but also reaching out to the Sims Nation, my buddy Joe, anybody out there watching or listening on WANT. We believe in you. We have faith in you. We know that you can achieve great things in life. The trick is now it's your turn. First, to believe in yourself and know that you can achieve greatness. And once you've believed in yourself, then it's time to turn around and pay it forward. Believe in others. Help others get what they want out of life. It's all part of what we do here as we get inspired to be an inspiration. I want to thank everybody for jumping in and joining us on our No Pain, No Gain episode of Warriors Unleashed. To all of my listeners on WANT, thank you for jumping on and listening. For all of my viewers here on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us. Folks, excuse me, we are going to be back tomorrow from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern, for the Positively Pat Sims Show, where we're going to be talking about some crazy, unbelievable facts, world records, all that kind of stuff in our Positively Pat Sims Believe It or Not episode, where my wife, Kim Sims, is going to be joining us. And then at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern, Honest Reviews is back on its Saturday time slot, and we are starting a 9-week Honest Review streak of Star Wars. That's right. We're doing the 9 Star Wars Skywalker Saga episodes, beginning with Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, tomorrow on Honest Reviews. Again, that's 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. The Positively Pat Sims Show will be on WANT as well as right here on YouTube, and will feature the live chat on YouTube. Our Honest Review Show is going to be exclusively on YouTube, and again, featuring live chat. And we love you guys jumping in on that chat. We love having you be a part of the show, even if it's just saying hello from time to time. All right, guys. Thank you so much, Joe, my wife, for being a big part of the chat here. I got a little tickle in my throat. Joe says, great show. I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for you. I appreciate that, Joe, but I'll tell you right now, brother, I was just a small part, right? I gave you a few little things that you needed, but you did the work. I gave you some of the tools you needed to be successful. You're the one that got out there and did it. And the next time I work with you, brother, I got some more tools for you, because I'm going to help you work harder, more efficiently to get the goals you want to achieved, and keep being that champion for life that I know you can be. All right, guys, we're going to say goodbye. Don't forget, get on over to positivelypatsims.printful.me. Get yourself your Warriors Unleashed t-shirt. We've also got products for the Positively Pat Sims logo that you see here. Also for the Positively Pat Sims show and Honest Reviews. We got all kinds of stuff. We got shoes. We've got shirts. We've got jerseys. We've got teddy bears. We've got cell phone cases, including our brand new lineup of iPhone 17 cases. All 4 of our logo designs are featured on every single iPhone 17 case that you could possibly want. I got my iPhone 17 Pro Max ordered. Should be in a couple weeks, and I can't wait to make it look awesome with a brand new Positively Pat Sims cell phone case. All right, guys, that's going to do it. January. It's going to be a birthday present for myself. Sounds good there, Joe. Until then, guys, keep getting inspired. And when you do, become the inspiration. So long, everybody. I'll see you next week for another Warriors Unleashed, and I'll see you tomorrow on the Positively Pat Sims Show and Honest Reviews. Gotta get rid of this tickle. So long, everybody.
The lights are dim, but the room still hums with the echoes of laughter and the moments we spun. Every honest word is like a stone in a stream. It rippled, it lingered, it shaped our dream. And if you ever wonder where I'll built a world behind these walls. And if you ever wonder where I'll be, look to the screen, I'll be there, you'll see. Goodbye to the faces that stayed in the glow. Goodbye to the voices I'll always know. This isn't an end, just a bend in the road. Goodbye for now, my friends, my show. The tape may stop, but the reel still spins. Every honest word, a place we've been. This goodbye's a whisper, not a shout. Just know you've been what it's all about. And if you ever wonder where I'll be, look to the screen,